Calvary Church, we are so glad that you are watching this. As you know, we're trying to highlight our missions partners both locally and globally because they are an important part of our community. They're an important part of the work of God in our world, and we want you to not just have names of who we support, but we want you to see in person who these people are, and hopefully just bring their names back to your mind, their faces to your mind, so that when you think of them, when they come to mind, you'll pray for them, and you won't just pray for them, but you'll make sure that you are a part of rallying around them and supporting them as they do the work of God in the place that He has called them to be. So we have Peter and Patricia DeWit. Am I pronouncing it properly? Awesome. Yes. Off to a good start. And I would love it if you would share with us just a little bit. I'll let you introduce yourselves, who you are, where you are currently serving, and maybe how long you have been serving in that spot.
Well, we've been here in Paris, France since 2014. So that's going into our 7th year now. And what we're doing is basically a lot of work with refugees and asylum seekers and the homeless in the streets of Paris. This is all in partnership with local church as well as other associations in the city that are doing good works.
We want to ask you a couple little fun questions to get to know you a little bit more. So one of those questions is, and you both need to answer it because they may be different answers, but what is your favorite dish or cuisine? Is it French or is it something else?
My favorite cuisine is Thai food and then Italian food.
And not far after that is Japanese food. Listen, we go to French restaurants sometime, not often. First of all, way too expensive for what you get. Small little portions, right? Their steak is not nearly as good as Canadian steak. Their fries are not as good as our home fries in Canada. But what the French can really make, and this is my favorite stuff, pastries, desserts, and croissant. Wow, you never had a croissant until you come to France. The breads here are amazing. Oh man, I could tell you about crème brûlée. It's got to be one of my favorites.
That's my favorite.
They have things like Marie Antoinette's, things that are like this high, full of creams and fruit, and les tartelettes and les tartes de framboise, and my goodness, it's just pastries.
The things you can do is sugar and flour and butter.
And caramelized sugar.
And cream.
And cream.
Caramelized sugar. Now I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Well, those are the amazing foods that the French make. But what is one Canadian item that you miss the most while you've been away?
I love maple syrup.
Yeah?
Yeah, maple syrup. So when we're in Canada, we stock up and we bring it back.
Now, do you have are you in stock for your maple syrup right now, or do you need some more?
We need some. We're getting
it's
it off the
so
grocery.
expensive here. A little jar like this lasts about 2 pancake servings, and it's like €5. And then this little jar of peanut butter, Skippy peanut butter, costs $7 Canadian. I go to Canada, I see these craft peanut butters like this big, and it's $2.99.
Yeah.
Goodness. So yeah, we do miss some of that.
Right.
The prices here are unbelievably expensive, except for bread, croissants, baguettes. You can get a big baguette that's like this for €1. It's amazing.
Yeah. Peter and Pat and we're going to play the infamous Heads Up, but without the iPad and the app. So you'll see it'll be edited in, the words. And I have essentially 2 minutes to guess all of the words that I don't know what they are, that are over there in Paris right now, and they are going to be described or acted or sung or whatever it needs to be done to help me get it. And we're going
to do this. You know it. We're going to do this.
Make sure you do it in English for me, okay?
Now we.
All right, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Oh gosh, okay. Ready, set,
you go first.
Go.
First word. People like to do this, and then they post it.
This is a place in your house where your brother, your dad, your husband, your son will go and design where they can watch hockey and pass gas, and nobody will judge them or tell them off.
Bathroom.
No. Watch hockey in this special place in the house.
Living room.
No, special for your brother, your son, husband, but no women.
No women. No women in the house. No
Anywhere.
man cave.
Oh, we can go back to that. Yeah. Okay. So, you know, when a baby is born, has an umbilical cord,
Yes.
and that umbilical cord becomes what?
A belly button.
This is a big circle that goes around your body, and you swing your hips back and forth. It will.
Hula hoop.
Yes.
Na 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 na.
Batman.
And what's his friend?
Robin. Batman and Robin.
Okay, this is something that you do to make your hands look pretty and.
Nail polish. Manicure.
What?
Nail polish.
No, what do you do with it though?
Paint your nails.
Yes.
Very good. So you're in the circus and you're really high up and you got to go from one point to another point. And you got this.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay, this is a special machine in the kitchen, and it takes all the things that you don't need and it squishes it all together.
Blender? No.
all the things that you're going to throw away, and it
Compost. Compact. Compost?
Yes. What's the second one you said?
Compactor? Compact?
Yeah. Yes, compactor. Good.
Good enough. Okay, what do cowboys do when they go to one place to another place?
How do they get there?
How do they get there?
They're riding a horse. Riding. Yep.
Okay, this is a creature that we are supposedly evolved from this creature, and it's a type of one.
Primate.
Yeah, it's a specific one that, okay.
I lost. Oh. Next question. What is one of the most encouraging things that somebody has done for you while you have been ministering overseas?
A couple of years ago, one church flew us back to Canada for Canadian Thanksgiving, and they offered to bring all of our children, wherever they were in the world, back to Canada for Canadian Thanksgiving in Toronto. And they rented a car for us, or they had a chauffeur pick us up at the airport. And they took us to a hotel that had fitness and a pool. They had a red carpet gala for us. And they did that to all the global workers that are partnering with them.
Now, you guys don't have to do that next year.
That's a high
no
bar.
Pressure, okay?
We'll send maple syrup. We'll send
Let's keep it to maple syrup and peanut butter.
Red carpet, maple syrup.
Okay, so if we don't get any maple syrup in the mail, we'll be like brokenhearted.
Yeah, that was amazing. That was incredible.
That was.
Oh. Yeah. Well,
you know, we've been given lots of neat opportunities over the years. Maybe like spoiled, but you know, today I got something that touched my heart deeply. There's a family in Canada that knows us, and they said their kids wanted to choose a project for some missionaries, and they chose Pat and I, and they said, we want to do something for you guys. Can you tell us what you need? And I said, well, you know, we work with the homeless, and there are a lot of homeless people that need a tent. So today they have 3 kids. They all have a bank account. I got 3 money transfers. The oldest boy is 12. He gave $44.25. The second boy, Caden, he's 9. He gave me $25.10. And Raina is probably about 7. And her offering was $5.10. It's about $75 altogether. And I already showed them a picture of a homeless guy that I want to buy a tent for. And you know what? When I give that tent, I'm going to think about those 3 kids, man.
Yeah.
And it's just like those kinds of things touch my heart more than anything, you know. It's just, I love it when I see generosity, especially from young kids.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
What a great example for us, we who are parents, to instill these values, to show kids that they're not too young to live missionally, to live out the Great Commission in such practical ways. So that's given me an idea for what conversations I'll have with my own boys. So
good.
Thank you for that. Would you be able to, in a sentence or two, can you describe a specific need that your ministry is meeting in Paris? And then afterwards, if you could just share a ministry highlight that you've had in your 7 years of being there, that would be great.
So many cool things that are happening in Paris, even right now as we speak. We work with refugees, asylum seekers, people that are homeless. And so we have programs, from language programs. Right now we're seeing 30 to 40 people come, not just refugees and asylum seekers, but volunteers. And they're volunteering to teach one-on-one to our refugees. And the atmosphere, we're doing it in the park. We don't have any buildings. We don't have a church building. We have nothing. So we're doing it in a park. And then we feed everybody afterwards. And it's just beautiful to see this, and the friendships and the refugees that hug us, and they really treat us really beautifully. We also have welcome dinners in our home. So we take 2, 3, 4, and this is working with the church, so that they will help some people who are homeless come to a home. Wow. And sit around a table and eat good food. And often what we do is, like, we ask them what their favorite meal is from their country, and we'll go online and we'll make that meal for them. And so it's pretty cool. And we play games afterwards. And sometimes what do?
Dance. Always.
There's a couple dancers that want to dance all the time. And it's really cool. There's like 5 guys, 6 guys, and Patricia and another woman dancing with all the guys in the room. It's really cool.
All right.
And not only that, we have workshops. We do feeding distributions. 4 times a week, we're on the streets just with a lot of food, with sandwiches, with our volunteers. And that's what excites me the most. Not just meeting the homeless, but working with volunteers who have no idea of who God is, some of them. Yeah. And I can see the DNA, the fingerprints of God in their lives. And it's just some of the coolest conversations I get to have. I every 2 weeks, I sit with a guy who is homeless. He lives in a Catholic shelter now, and we have coffee together, and he's always sick, but he teaches me stuff just about life, how he faces some of the harshest realities of not seeing his kids now for 7 years, of not having any money at all to buy anything, and yet his patience, his kindness. Wow, I need to learn some of that stuff. I complain when my internet doesn't work properly.
I know. It's
just little things that bug us so much.
Yeah, and resiliency and pain. That's the thing, is sometimes there are certain experiences and certain emotions that just transcend economic status and pain. When you can sit with somebody who is experiencing pain or is an overcomer, and you can find common ground in those ways, then it's a true community, true relationship with one another.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's my dream. This is part of why we left Thailand, came to a place like France where it's not easy to carry a robust faith.
Yeah.
And there's no natural platform or pedestal the way we had in Thailand. And I said, wouldn't it be great to be in a context where our faith has to come out of how we live and not who we say we are, and to rebuild from a place. It's like a litmus test of everything you say you believe. And so to get to do that,
my granddaughter disagreed with
and
you.
So when COVID happened and all these restrictions, because I always said, what would we do? Let's live in a way so that if our traditions and our buildings and our gatherings are taken away from us, that it doesn't change the strength and the unstoppable move of God. Let's live that all the time, because it could happen. God forbid. I always kept saying, God forbid. Well, now, thanks to COVID, here we are. So it hasn't really changed how we do things, or how it hasn't affected our work.
Right.
And because we work in the streets anyway, we're not based in a building, and we're not based in a gathering.
Yeah, that's very encouraging to me. So I'll pray for that right now, and pray for continued support, and pray for continued opportunities for the two of you and our other partners to encourage us with those stories, and maybe put us at, maybe we'll find that this partnership is more about, in this season, what you have to offer encouragement to us. And so I'll pray for you now, and then we're going to have a fun little time playing a game together. So let's pray. God, I thank you for Peter and Patricia. I thank you for their obedient heart to your spirit, so your spirit's leading all those years ago, beyond 7 years ago, God, of when they were led to Paris, but God, for their work in Thailand that they did and beyond. God, you knew from the time these two were born the mission that you had set out for them. And so, God, I thank you for every step along the way that had to be put in place to get them to this exact spot, this exact location, to where they are today. God, for the many that they have in this season specifically, God, supported and noticed and have seen and have invited into their home, God, who every person that they have represent Jesus to. God, I thank you that you knew that this would happen from the beginning. And God, I know that the interactions don't just stop at a meal at a table, but God, that you are doing a great, miraculous work in the lives of the people of Paris and in Peter and Patricia's lives as well. And God, that you have a beautiful story, a beautiful masterpiece that you are working on constantly, daily, by the power of your spirit. And so, God, I just pray for that continued work. I pray for you to continue to provide in areas they need provision, that you would continue to give them wisdom, that you would continue to give them safety, but boldness, God, to go to the places that you are asking them to go. And that, God, when they get there, they would see that your spirit has already gone before them and has prepared a way. So, God, for Peter's Bible study with these men that he is meeting with, God, I thank you for your word. I thank you that it's living and it's active. And that, God, as these men hear the stories that were penned so long ago, that they would be as alive today as they were then. And that, God, they would transform their lives, and that they would see the creator that created them with purpose, who loves them, who, God, they can find refuge in as they're seeking it. That, God, the best refuge that they could find is in your presence. And God, I just pray for continued provision for each of those men, that, God, they would find community, they would find family, they would find home and safety, God. I thank you for the work you're doing, and I'm so privileged and honored to have been in this moment of hearing and being inspired by the work you're doing in Paris through these two individuals. And God, I just look forward to the story to continue. And God, I pray that Calvary Church would hear their story, would see their faces, and God would just continue to contend for them and pray for them and resource them as we are able to. We ask all these things in your precious name. Amen.
Thank you. Yes. And amen.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for doing this and giving us your time, especially when your beautiful granddaughter is just right over there, and doing so well, sharing you both with us. So yeah, I'm honored that you would meet with us.
Of course, we're glad.